Jeanette, what, if anything, should be done to save Social Security?
You know, Social Security, Medicaid, and Medicare are the #1 expenditure on our federal budget. And for too long, we said that's a problem for tomorrow. And in case you don't know, we hit the red for the first time. We had record numbers of people who retired last year, record numbers of people who took disability. And so we've always said, well, that's a problem for tomorrow. That's a problem for tomorrow. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's a problem for today. It no longer can be ignored. It's the elephant in the room that nobody wants to deal with. And I can tell you, I got asked at a debate, well, are you willing to take Social Security? Well, I was born in 1965, which means I'm after the boomers. So I've never believed Social Security was a viable option. So I have a vested pension because I've made plans for the future, but we've got to go back and look at Social Security. We've got to make changes, and we've got to make it so that people who are reliant upon it have got to still be able to feed themselves. But we've got to be looking at things like Social Security disability. I met a man who was 23 years old. He's on Social Security disability because he's illiterate. In that household, there's 2 other illiterate adults, and there's a 6- and an 8-year-old little girl with not one piece of reading material in the home. We need to not be looking at giving them decades worth of Social Security disability. We need to be looking at giving them the education they need to become functionally literate so that they can become productive members of our society. And then those little girls have a chance too. Because the system we have right now is creating generational welfare. So there are solutions, common sense solutions, that you and I can see to those problems, and that's what we need to be doing. Where can we make the cuts, where can we make the changes, and where can we make people independent and have the American dream where they're able to sustain themselves and make their life better and their children's lives better.
Should the United States be sending billions of our dollars and our resources to aid foreign countries that dislike us? Or should we be spending those dollars here at home in an effort to solve our own very real domestic crisis?
I think, it's good to support countries that have been good to us, but I also realize that we have to think America first, and especially countries that are not what I consider friendly countries, even though we seem to be friendly with countries like Saudi Arabia. Well, we have to remember where the big team of 19 hijackers came from. That was Saudi Arabia. But I think even with our countries that we're friendly with, whether it be NATO or whatever, we really need to think first and start cutting funding and start worrying about American jobs and American people. I just think we need to focus at home, whether that's a little bit isolationist to some people. That's my belief, that we need to take care here first.
Dave, do you consider yourself a pro-life candidate?
Well, sometimes you wonder if you're set up the wrong way. I feel like I've been set up the right way now. As I said, that everywhere that I go, in fact, I was asked, we were all asked at one debate, what would be the first thing that we would take on. And I really believe, my friends, this is not, a lot of the Tea Party movement going on, a lot of that stuff, it's not about the cultural issues, it's not about moral issues. And I lead with the moral issues. I lead with the pro-life message. I don't believe, I am absolutely pro-life from the moment of conception to the moment of natural death. I don't know if you know this. I was arrested in 2005 in Pinellas County for trying to take water to Terry Shiver. I don't know if you guys remember Terry Shiver or not. I didn't call my congressman. I didn't call George Bush. I went down there and I stood up for life because I told people, even back in 2005, if we allow the government, folks, if we allow the government to starve this handicapped woman, I'm going to tell you, Grandma and Grandpa are next. The British are coming. And here we are 5 years later, death panels. Spend much of my time standing outside of abortion clinics, handing out literature, trying to rescue babies. I'll never forget we were out there one time when this couple were walking into the abortion clinic and we were trying to get close enough to talk to them. And as they were going around the corner, I said, "Sir, look at your baby. Look at your wife. That's what your baby's going to look like." I thought the whole thing was over. 2 minutes go by, 10 minutes go by. About a half hour later, he comes walking out the front door and raises his arms. He came around and gave me a hug. I said, "You saved your baby?" He said, "Yes, sir, I saved my baby." He said, "Thank you for being here." Folks, we better understand, abortion is one dead, one wounded. The woman never forgets it. And if we cannot stand up for the most innocent in our society, the baby inside the mother's womb, if the safest place in America is no longer safe, God help this nation. We have got to stop the killing of unborn children. Thank you.
Well, should legislation be passed naming English as the official language of the United States? And if so, should we stop printing everything from A to Z in multiple languages?
Well, absolutely we need to make English the official language. You know, immigrants have come to this country in many ways and many things. And been taking a class about the 5,000-year leap. And one of the first things to a new culture becoming accepted into the country was to learn the common language. See, we're trying to get things mixed up. We're trying to teach, well, they shouldn't have to learn our language. Well, that's part of the struggles of becoming American, becoming a legal immigrant into America, and becoming part of this country. Because if you want to come into this country legally, you should want to become a part of this country and not your own sect. Now, as far as printing materials and other things, I think that could, I would not put limitations on a business. If a business decided it was in their best input to print both languages, I don't think the federal government has the right to tell them they can or can't do that. But certainly, English needs to be taught in our schools, and English needs to be the official language. I'm a fourth generation into this country legally. My great-grandfather, Herman Bromberg, was the first Bromberg born in America. And so I love immigration if it's done legally, and then learning the language, and then becoming self-sufficient and being a productive member to the society. That's the way immigration is supposed to work, and that's the way we need to make it work, or else we're going backwards.